And we're live on March 15th, the Ides of March. And basically the end of the first week of free agency and kind of all the big names for fantasy are gone except for a few quarterbacks, right? Maybe a couple other positional guys, but
there's some the wide receiver class. The free agents they're big names, but they're like Diggs and Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper and stuff like that. Those guys are still hanging out there. Are they big names in the fantasy world? They used to be, but maybe not so much anymore.
It's a good point, though, because I kind of forgot about them. And you talked about there's a whole group of those guys, older guys who were kind of studs for fantasy. I'm sure one or two of them are going to be something, right? You just don't know who. So at least for a portion of the season. So
I think what the Chargers have done in fantasy with Najee Harris and then signing Mekhi Becton, if the dude can stay healthy, you're going to hear a lot about that in the upcoming season. They're going to, what a great job that was,
or
all that other stuff, and so
it's funny. He was a big bust until he moved inside. So
yeah, he's big dude. He's like 6'7", 350, and he's got big long arms, and he couldn't stay healthy with the Jets. He drafted him early in the first round, and the guy was always getting hurt.
Yeah. But we are doing a rookie mock draft this Saturday morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. Here's the link to join it. We are going to use landing spots as well, and I'll send that link out. I'll probably start up here. We'll give it about, 10 minutes or so. See if we get some more people in here, but join us, mock with us, see how free agency has changed things just a little bit. So as I get that link here for you guys, and we'll go over the landing spots here in just a bit as well, but there's the link in the chat. It kind of links it as two, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I think you can click it as one. But so Cheeseheads here says he's trying to package Brian Robinson and Leggett for something. What would you be looking for? An early second? Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's terrible, but I think there's a good chance you might not win that. It depends on, I guess, how you feel. Those two players are tough because I don't think you're getting an early second for one of them. And I don't know if you're getting multiple seconds. I'd kind of want like a second and a third, early second and a third, or early second and a 2026 or even 2027 pick. I feel like I'd want a little bit more there for those two players. So, I think we assume Brian Robinson, we think there's a good chance the Commanders bring in someone, but they also might not in terms of through the draft. Leggett, I was never the biggest Leggett guy, but he is a first-round pick, a receiver who had a couple moments last year. And, we got to give these guys sometimes more than just a year to prove themselves, right? So I'd kind of want a little bit more. I feel like an early second could be a win, but I'd want a couple seconds, a second and a third, even if that second is 2 years from now. So I'm not sure how you feel in there, Dad, about those two players, Leggett and B-Rob.
A second rounder, I think, would be maybe appropriate and stuff like that, I think.
For both of them?
Yeah, I don't know. Are they just guys, Are they difference makers and stuff like that? I don't know, Second rounder and some other player maybe, but
yeah, maybe if you can get like a
I wouldn't trade two for one,
Yeah. I mean, the fact is, with like a guy like Brian Robinson, for example, like he's been in a low end RB2 or RB3 the last couple of years. 2023, he was the RB21. in points per game and RB22 in total points. Last year, he was the RB29 and RB28 points per game. So, like he's been productive. Now, again, we assume he's going to be replaced, but there's also a chance that the board just doesn't fall the way the Commanders want, and they don't take a running back until round 4. And then Brian Robinson, is just good next year for another year. So there? I think Eckler's still under contract. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he signed a 2-year contract. And then Leggett, again, he's a former first round. Like he's a first round pick at wide receiver. Super athletic, has all the physical tools in the world. Does he put it together? Is the question.
He's a big boy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's big and fast and strong. He just has to put it all together. So
yeah.
Once again, we are doing a rookie mock draft here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 7 spots left. So we'd like to fill this bad boy up. We have 11 people watching already, so I think we can fill it up. The link is right here, a little bit up above. I'll kind of repost it here, and we're probably going to get started at 15. So 10, 15, 11, 15, 12, 15, 9, 15, depending on where you are. Another time in the world if you're in Europe or Australia or wherever. But we're going to start in about basically 6 minutes. I don't want to keep the people in there waiting, and we are using landing spots. We're going to go over those in just a second. Link is here, though, if you want to open that up and start checking those out. It's a 3-round mock draft from Athlon Sports, who I don't really know how legitimate they are, but it's hard to find 3-round mock drafts. So
they've been around a while, Athlon Sports.
Yeah.
So
yeah, okay, that's good to know. Yeah, torn to what's. Yeah, I just feel like an early second, whereas like. I do like the early seconds in these picks. I guess we can see after this draft, who would you be trading those 2 for? And maybe it could work out. I feel like if you can't get anything else, it's okay. I would want to try and squeeze a little bit more out, like a third, a second, even in 2027, a dart throw player, like a second-year guy that didn't really do anything, like, I don't know, a Roman Wilson or Jermaine Burton, something like that, like, just a little bit more to make me feel okay. Jason Pierce says he has the 101, the 103, the 104, the 107 through the 107 through the 202 in this draft. Going to be interesting. Wow. So he has the 101, the 103, the 104, and then he has the 107 through the 202. So he's gonna be getting some players. I would be looking to trade maybe some of those late firsts for future first if you could, especially because there's a lot of people. Seemingly a lot of players, a lot of teams in this draft that don't have a pick in the first round. And so they may be itching to get a pick in this draft and maybe trade a couple of those firsts for future firsts. But that's pretty nice. And don't sell low on them. Just draft the players. Like if people don't want to give you what you think you should be getting for those picks, just say, all right, whatever.
12. No, he's got
He has
9,
9
11 picks.
Yeah, 9 of the first round picks, so 9 of 12, assuming it's a 12 team. So
I'd just draft the if I had that, I would just draft the people knocking on the door. Yeah, that's good. I'd just be drafting the best person available.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. But yeah, if people might overpay for picks. So keep that in mind.
They get anxious,
Yeah,
they want
for sure
stuff, and I know I feel it sometimes.
Yeah. So once again, guys, we have 12 people watching, so we should be able to fill this up theoretically, or at least get a couple more people in. So we're going to start this up in about 3 or 4 minutes. You have the 1 spot, the 4 spot, the 6, 7, 9, and 12 spot. This is a Dynasty rookie mock draft. Yes, it will be a 12-team super flex PPR. Let's go 1.5 tight end premium. So tight ends are getting 2.5 points per reception. So it's a pretty big tight end premium there. So yeah, it will be super flex there, Holden. And let's go over some of these landing spots for everyone here. So I'm going to share this with us, and kind of we like to put it here on a spreadsheet. Makes it a little bit easier. But we got Cam Ward, 101 to the Titans. Travis Hunter, I put Colorado, but he's a Giant, I believe that is. Travis Hunter is third to the Giants. Tyler Warren is the 7th overall pick to the Jets. Ashton Genty to the Bears, which I think, I think a lot more people are going to start doing and putting that mock that to the Bears. Ted McMillan is a Cowboy, which I think is actually a pretty good fit, him and CeeDee Lamb together. Matthew Golden is a Seahawk. So Seahawks bring in, I know this was made before the Cooper Kupp signing, so do they still do that? Maybe. But we got to play in this world that it's JSN, Cooper Kupp, and Matthew Golden. Omarion Hampton is a Bronco, first-round pick. Shador Sanders is a Steeler. He falls to the 21st pick. Colston Loveland is a Charger. Jackson Dart, first pick of second round, is a Brown. Luther Burden and Emeka Ibuka, a lot of times mocked in the first round, both fall to the second round, early second round, but they do fall to the second round. Burden's a Titan, and he's pairing up with Cam Ward. And Emeka Ibuka is a Jag. Travion Henderson is a Raider. He gets top 40 draft capital. Jaden Higgins gets top 40 draft capital going to the Patriots, which is interesting because they haven't done anything for position players. Caleb Johnson is a Cowboy in the second round. Mason Taylor is a Colt, the tight end. Jalen Royals, my wide receiver 5, is a Cardinal. He's also the wide receiver 6 in this draft. Going to the Cardinals, 47th overall, Elijah Arroyo is a Bronco. Trey Harris is a Bill. Jalen Milroe is a Giant in the third round. Harold Fannin Jr. is a Chief. Quinshawn Judkins is a Brown in the third round. Jack Besh is a Raider. Gunnar Helm is a Patriot. Jalen Knoll, spelled Noel but pronounced Knoll, is a Saint. Xavier Restrepo is a Panther. Alec Eilmanor is a Texan. Cam Scadaboo is a Charger. Tyler Shuck, I believe is the pronunciation. It's spelled kind of weirdly, but it's Shuck, the quarterback. And he's going to the Rams. Terrence Ferguson is a Saint. Dylan Sampson's a Viking. And Isaiah Bond is a Lion, a wide receiver from Texas. So that is the world we are playing in. We're playing as if this were the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. How does it affect how we are viewing things? Let's see how we're doing here. Still got a couple spots. We're going to start. 1 minute warning, guys. 1 minute warning if you want to jump in there. Still got a few spots left. 1 minute warning. Any thoughts on those landing spots? Any surprising, interesting landing spots?
The last wide receiver, was it Bond?
Isaiah Bond to the Lions.
Yeah, that seemed like he's dropped a little bit and stuff like that. So
yeah, I think people thought he was going to run a little faster. He still ran like a 4.39, right?
Yeah, I think so. He's the one. He was talking crap about beating Worthy's 4.21.
Yeah,
it's like
I'm sure there's
not
a little
even close, bro. So
little friendship there, but yeah, he wasn't. I think we're expecting a little bit lower because he's a small dude. Cheesehead says he's hoping his patience with Darnold pays off, and by patience I mean offers that were declined. Yeah, I mean, again, I think Darnold's going to be a really good QB3. So, and maybe a 2A, 2B type of situation. But we're going to get this bad boy started. I'm going to make sure I got all my settings in place here. We'll do 1.5 minutes on the clock. Rookies only. Let me do quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. So it's easier to find guys, and linear draft. So let's get this started, and I'll be making some of the picks here at the for the teams that are not currently don't have anyone, and it's still Ashton Genty. Ashton Genty's been the number 1 pick since I started doing this in early January. So although I do think not particularly how this draft fell out, but and I'll kind of wait, actually. Yeah, okay. So I was going to say Omarion Hampton, he could push him for the number 1 spot, in my opinion. I think if he goes first round, Hampton, he is guaranteed the 102 for me. I don't care where he goes. If he's a first round pick, Omarion Hampton, he's the 102 over Ted McMillan, over Cam Ward. In this draft, he goes 20th overall to the Broncos. Let me ask you this. Let's say the Raiders get Genty at 6 and the Cowboys take Hampton at 12. could you see Hampton going? People taking Hampton over Genty in this in a rookie draft?
Yeah, I don't know if that scenario. I can see it anyway, I guess, and we need to see these landing spots, but both those teams need running backs. I wouldn't say the Cowboys are that much more of a running team than what the Raiders are. I think Pete Carroll now is the coach. Look who's the coach of the Raiders. So look what he did in Seattle. He was kind of a run first guy. So
Yep. And we are slowly seeing, when I first started this in January, a lot of times these quarterbacks, even in super flex drafts, were falling to the second half of the first round. We are seeing kind of Cam Ward separate himself from those other guys. And I think there's value in that, especially if you have multiple picks like our friend Jason here, who has 9 in the first 12 picks and 11 picks. Like, why not take Cam Ward at the 103 and then say, hey, I can find good running backs, wide receivers with my later picks, but I can't find other quarterbacks because maybe I don't like them or whatever. So seems to be, and I'm going to take Ted McMillan here. This seems to be kind of the top 4 that's kind of established itself a little bit in Genty, Hampton, Ward, and Ted McMillan. So
if I had all those picks in the first round, I'd take both those quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I might even take 3 of them.
Yeah.
Why not?
And I'm going to go Tyler Warren here at the 105 again. It's a 1.5 point tight end premium. So he could easily go over Ted McMillan, in my opinion, in that kind of tight end premium. He goes 7th overall to the Jets. I know maybe we don't love the Jets landing spot, but still, like, I think he could be a nice safety valve for Justin Fields. And then I'll go back-to-back running backs in Travion Henderson and Caleb Johnson, who goes to the Cowboys. Any running back that goes to the Cowboys, whether it's 12th or 44th, is going to be drafted pretty high, in my opinion.
Well, they've signed 2 guys, kind of, Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams now. So
yeah, I'm not really worried about Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I get it. I know those aren't, jump out at you. They're gonna, Javonte Williams is still a pretty decent player, but he's got to get the he's got to get the work.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, guys, we're going to set a like goal of 15 likes. If we hit 15 likes, we will do another mock draft with you after this one. So if you're watching, you just got here and you want to get into the next one, make sure to hit the like button. And if we hit to 15 likes, and so that's pretty awesome. I should have set it at 20, damn it. No, I'm just kidding. We'll do another one with you guys here. Probably stay live for about an hour. I'm going to pause it after this pick here, and we're going to talk about this first round real quick, and start thinking about who's your guys' favorite pick in the first round in terms of value or just the player you like the most. Again, this is a 12-team Superflex PPR, 1.5 point tight end premium. So you have a favorite pick there, Dad? Is it just who you picked? Quinshon Judkins is your favorite pick, or
it was either him or Ibuka, I think, or Shador.
Mm-hmm.
I think between those 3, that's
yeah.
And so I picked Judkins. I don't remember what team did he?
Browns in round 3. So
yeah.
I mean, it's a good spot for a running
back.
Yeah,
not bad. I'm just Browns seems like one of those teams they're like in the pit of misery or something, The Giants.
Factory of Sadness.
Huh?
The Factory of Sadness.
Yeah, Factory of Sadness. That's good. Pit of misery, like that falling into that Star Wars Sarlacc pit and getting slowly digested for 1,000 years or 100 years or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. We see Burden and Ibuka go before Matthew Golden, who is a first-round pick, and Ibuka and Burden fall to the early second round. Maybe it's the landing spot with Cooper Kupp being now on the Seahawks that we don't love, but I'm going to go ahead and take Matthew Golden here. First-round pick at wide receiver. Yeah, it's not ideal that Cooper Kupp just went there, but he is older and he's been injured a lot. So I like Golden a lot. He's my wide receiver 2, I believe, in this draft class now. Kind of been high on him ever since he declared, and he's getting a lot of hype. And usually he's been going kind of mid first round now lately. So for him to fall to the second round,
I think Kupp's going to have a decent year this year.
Probably, if he stays healthy. Yeah. I mean, like we mentioned last year, like before he had his like tank job of a fantasy playoffs, he was like wide receiver 9 or 6, whatever it was in points per game last year. Like he was good when he played. So, but yeah, we have, and to Cheesehead's point about, should I trade Brian Robinson and Leggett for an early second? I mean, if you get a first-round pick at receiver, if you get Jackson Dart in a Superflex league who goes to the Browns 33rd overall, or whoever this player is going to be by ATL Raider, like maybe the argument is to just cash out on those guys and get Matthew Golden or Jackson Dart or Travis Hunter, So interesting for sure. I like the Dart pick. I thought about him at the 201, but how are we feeling? Actually, let me make sure. I'm gonna go Elijah Arroyo. I know they just brought in Evan Ingram at the for the Broncos, but he's also going to be 31, and I know he like gets a lot of targets and catches, but he doesn't do much with it. Evan Ingram, like. You remember his 2023 season, he had 143 targets, 114 catches, 963 yards. Like, that's not good. To not even get 1,000 yards with 114 catches.
Former first rounder with I think he was a first rounder with the Giants.
Yeah, he was. He was indeed. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my boy Dylan Sampson. He got drafted to the Vikings. 3rd round. Now they brought back Aaron Jones, but Aaron Jones is also older. I think Sampson will have a role year 1, maybe not startable, but he'll have a role, which will make you excited about him. And then he will, maybe potentially take over that backfield in 2026. So we'll take Dylan Sampson. How are we feeling about Jaden Higgins? He's a top 40 pick. He's going to the Patriots, which I know people are not excited about a wide receiver on the Patriots, but we like Drake May, and he's probably the number 1 guy there, right?
Yeah, Chris Godwin turned down like $20 million more to stay with the Buccaneers instead of going to New England.
Yeah. And you see Trey Harris off the board. Trey Harris is a Buffalo Bill, so like the pick there. Mason Taylor. Man, I really like Jalen Royals. I just never see him drafted to the right team. Like, can he go to the Bills? Can he go to the Broncos? Like a team where I can actually see him legitimately being the number 1 or number 2 target on the – like he always goes to like the Cardinals. He's not out-targeting Trey McBride. He's probably not out-targeting Marvin Harrison unless Marvin Harrison's an absolute bust. He still has to beat out Michael Wilson. I don't know. And they couldn't even make Marvin Harrison like a legitimate receiver. Their number 1 receiver last year. So once again, guys, if we do hit the like goal, which we may have already have, I'm going to double check here, of 15 likes on this video, we will fire up another rookie mock draft after this one. So make sure to hit that like button if you want to do another rookie mock draft. And of course, make sure to hit the subscribe button as always, as we get to, you took Io Manor off the board. Going to Houston, you like that spot?
Yeah, I think a little bit of a reach, I think, but I like watched some video on that guy. He looked pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. He has the tools. He has the tools, that's for sure. By the way, I think I misread the likes before. We're at 11 right now, so we're 4 away. We weren't at 13, so 4 away, and we will do another rookie mock here. So Jalen Royals off the board, Alec Manor off the board, and of course, join our Discord if you're not in there already. You'll know when we go live for these mock drafts. We do rookie and startup mock drafts. Probably do a startup mock draft tomorrow evening. We also do real money leagues. We already have 2 set up. We're getting close on one of them to start that the real draft, which we'll probably live stream at least the first 10 rounds or so. So join that Discord there. Link is in the chat. How are we feeling about round 2 here? I like the Scadaboo pick a lot. I mean, he goes to the Chargers, 86th overall. I know they just brought in Najee, but it was on a 1-year deal. I still think the Chargers could take a running back in the first, second, or third round, to be honest. Now, Najee's not going to, Najee's going to be there, and he's going to have his role. So, like, at best, if everything goes right, like Scadaboo or whoever they draft is probably a low-end RB2 at best. But, then you think about, they could take over the backfield pretty easily. So, do you like the Scadaboo pick?
Yeah. And it's a good place. Like, you just identified going to the Chargers, run first team. He's probably going to get his chances. It might not come in volume, a large volume. Najee doesn't get hurt. He plays every game, and he catches the ball and everything else. But there should be carries and touches and all that good stuff for him.
Yeah, absolutely. The Trey Harris pick, a lot of people are high on Trey Harris. He goes to the Bills, 62nd overall. Like, he could be the guy. We'll see. Like, I don't think that's a bad pick. Io Manor. So some good picks in the second round and still some good players out there for the third round. So we're going to fire up the third round here. Once again, guys, we have over 20 people watching, which is awesome. Make sure to hit the like button. If we hit 15 likes, we will do another rookie mock draft, and you guys can get in there. If not, we'll just talk some of the other free agency moves that we didn't talk about on Thursday, right? Is when we went live.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and take Jalen Milroe. I mean, it's a super flex league. He runs the ball. He goes to the Giants, 65th overall. Now, if the Giants don't take a quarterback until 65th overall, I assume that means they probably brought in an Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins or something, right? Because all they have on their roster right now is DeVito. But we are living in this world where they don't have – all they have is DeVito on their team. So, Milroe, if that's the case, is going to get starts. Absolutely. So, in a super flex league, a guy that runs the ball, I know as soon as he becomes the starter, I'll be able to sell him probably for more than what I just drafted him for, which is, when we talk about these things and taking these guys, it's not necessarily saying, you gotta start them. They're going to be good. It's like, well, what value can you get from them, if the value goes up? So, no worries, cheeseheads. We'll take your pick at 11 there. No worries whatsoever. We did hit our 15 like goal, so we will fire up another one. I'm going to get that set up now, so we can start getting people in there. If you're in this mock draft, you may, of course, join that one as well. No worries. It'll be about 20 minutes or so. We'll kind of go through it a little bit faster. We'll do 1 minute on the clock. Devin Neal did not get drafted in this mock draft, so I'm putting it in the private chat here, the link if you want to join there, Dad, before we open it up to everyone. Devin Neal did not get taken in this draft, so you can still take him. Like, you don't have to follow the draft, and maybe he goes early 4th round. And I heard someone say, and I thought it was interesting, I keep talking about it, and basically saying, like, look, it's not for these guys that go late 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. It's not so much when they go, it's who they go to. If they fall on there's so many good running backs. If they fall on a better team, someone taken in the early 4th, I'll take that player over a guy taken in the third round or something. You don't have to follow necessarily the round. So yeah, Devin Neal did not get taken, but he does get taken at the 303. How are we feeling about? Oh no, Harold Fannin just went. Harold Fannin to the Chiefs. I think that's an interesting one. Let's go Jack Besh here. He goes to the Raiders, 68th overall. I'm not sure about Besh, like what his ceiling is. By the way, I did post the link to the other mock draft if you guys want to hop in there. That would be fantastic. Get more of you in there, and we're going to start up another rookie mock draft here. But yeah, Jack Besh, I'm not sure like what his range of outcomes is in terms of like his ceiling, but I think he's a solid player that will do well and have a role for a team. And then I'll go ahead and take Mr. Slowpoke, Gunnar Helm, who did not run a 5 40-yard
Yeah,
time.
I thought he did, but I seen him run. I'm like, who in the hell is this guy?
Yeah. And then we'll take Jalen Knoll, who tore up the combine. I think Jalen Knoll is like Josh Downs. And I know that doesn't sound exciting, but Josh Downs is like, imagine Josh Downs on a team that actually had a quarterback that could complete passes. I think we would love it.
He's got one now, Daniel Jones.
Oh, yeah, Daniel Jones. That's right. Forgot about him.
And
then I'll take Restrepo here. We will take Restrepo. Still some good players in the third round here. There's a running back I really like who doesn't ever seem to get mocked in these 3-round mock drafts. As we see Ollie Gordon off the board. I'm just going to go ahead and take him. It's DJ Giddens. I'm a big DJ Giddens fan out of Kansas State. He as I'm lagging a little bit, there we go. He did amazingly well at the combine, which was good to see. And you watch his film too, and you're just like, wow, this guy's good. And I think people are a little bit concerned about the speed, but he ran like a low 4.4. I think people were expecting more like a mid 4.5. So, I mean, not that speed's everything, but it kind of aligns with what you see on the tape here. So, fun stuff there with DJ Giddens as we see Jordan James off the board out of Oregon. He did not get drafted here. I think there's only 2 players left that are on the board, and I need to take Cheesehead's pick here. Terrence Ferguson. Ferguson seems to have established himself as like that next tier of guys. That next tier of tight ends after, of course, Warren Loveland, after Arroyo, Mason Taylor, maybe Fannin, or if maybe Fannin's in this group with Ferguson and Helm. Depends on where he goes, but seems to have established himself a little bit. As we're going to take Tyler Shuck here. He goes, I have two things for quarterbacks taken third round or later. One, you need to be able to run the ball. If you can run the ball like a Jalen Milroe, I'll take a chance on you. Or you go to a team that, generally has a good offense or can develop quarterbacks like Shuck here, who goes to the Rams third round. So, he could become their QB2. They did re-sign Jimmy Garoppolo, but as we're going to kind of power through this fourth round, Jaden Blue. I kind of like Jaden Blue out of Texas. I think he's a good player. I don't know if he's going to be a workhorse type of guy, but I think he's a really good player. And I'm kind of interested in him to see where he goes. And, my interest kind of went up when I saw that he was like mocked one time in the second round. I was like, whoa. And he's an interesting one for sure. As we'll kind of just take some chances on these running backs here. Fourth round, everyone's a dart throw, but still some good players. I mean, Bashal Tootin ran a 4.33 or something, and he's super fast and productive at Virginia Tech there. I mean, Damian Martinez, a lot of people like. Jaden Blue, Bashard Smith, Marcus Hunter. So still some good players in there. By the way, guys, if you want to mock with us, we are doing one more here. Link is right here. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 6 spots open. So make sure to join. there. Then we'll fire that up shortly after this one. This one ends. Again, we're using landing spots from a mock draft in Athlon Sports 3-round mock draft. So, how you feeling about this rookie draft so far? I mean, just in general, the rookie draft, and seems to be pretty deep with a lot of players. Maybe not top heavy like last year, but seems to be deep.
Yeah, definitely. Look at all the running backs coming off this. Just in this mock draft right here. So, just, it's kind of
A
deep.
lot of them. Yeah. I mean, all these guys are interesting running backs, like Martinez, Blue. Like, they're probably not going to go day 2, most of these guys, but like they're really good running backs that could kind of be workhorse guys, in particular like Martinez and Tootin, but maybe I don't know. They're definitely we're gonna have guys that go to teams that we don't love, but I don't know why I put a Facebook link here. I think I linked the wrong thing here. Let me delete that. And I need to open up the mock draft. But yeah, there's a lot of good running backs here, and definitely in this draft, and that's what kind of makes it deep, because running backs are the players that are potentially going to hit. So as we get to the last pick, Mr. Irrelevant here. Is Torrey Horton, which is a player I am very interested in. So we're going to switch over. We got 5 spots left if anyone wants to join. Link is in the chat. I'm going to repost it here. And this one we'll do a non-tight end premium here. This one will just be a standard 12-team Superflex. Let's go half PPR. So 12-team Superflex, half PPR. And we'll do 3 rounds this time. We'll just do 3 rounds instead of 4. But we have 5 spots open. No one wants to take the back half here, so I'm going to take one down here. But yeah, let's try and fill those up if we can. We'll give it a few minutes, and Dad, give us your thoughts on Cooper Kupp going to the Seattle Seahawks.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I said earlier, I think you'll probably have a good year. Obviously, Seattle's kind of remaking their offense a little bit. So, new quarterback, and they got rid of Metcalf. So, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think he was going to cost them. He was going to cost them a lot of money, and I don't know if that equals the production and stuff like that, but I think Kupp going there, and I think he got $15 million a year or something.
Yeah, he got paid pretty well.
Yeah,
which was a little surprising.
I know there's some detail. Yeah, I know there's details in these contracts and stuff like that, guaranteed money and blah 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 and all this other stuff. So we don't know the real numbers, but I'm sure he's getting paid pretty good for the first year or 2. I think it was a 3-year contract, but I think it'll help. If he stays healthy, it'll definitely help the Seahawks, and I think Kupp will have a decent. We know he's a volume guy, so I think it'll be good.
Yeah, that is a concern, and Jason does bring it up. Like, they have the slot receiver position covered, and we want to see JSN in the slot 60% of the time. We do. But now with Kupp there, I think it's more likely that Kupp moves to the slot. He becomes kind of like what Adam Thielen has become his last couple of years, where like you move him into the slot almost full time and he becomes more productive. He survives. And that's a little bit concerning for JSN's production. If he's going to play, only 30% in the slot or less. We need these guys, generally guys that are top tier fantasy wide receivers. They play 30, 35% or more in the slot because it's just easy targets. They're not just full outside guys. There's very few guys that can be consistently in the top 10 that are like outside guys only. Mike Evans is one of them. Even Jamar Chase moved more to the slot this year and he had his best season, so that is a bit concerning. And I'm going to be interested to see how they work that out. So, real quick, guys, we have 3 spots left. If anyone wants to join, we have 3 spots. We're going to start this up in just a couple of minutes. So I don't want to make everyone wait that's already in here. So we're going to start this up in 2 minutes. So if you want to join, there's 3 spots. Link is right here. This is a 12-team, just a 12-team Superflex half PPR. So no tight end premium or anything. Just a 12-team Superflex half PPR league. So we got 3 spots left, and we're going to give it 1 more minute. Appreciate everyone that hopped in today, though, and we'll be live again tomorrow, probably with the startup mock draft. I'll do that with everyone, and I think that will be a lot of fun. Yeah. What other? I know Dobbins is out there for running backs. Is there anyone else that I'm missing for running backs that's out there that can make a big difference?
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I can pull it up real quick. I think. Let's go running backs, and still out there. It's not showing me. Let me find a different one. RBs. Miles Sanders is on a new team. Raheem Mostert's on a new team. All right, I'm going to start this up, but I need to find – I can't find a solid list here. We got 60 seconds on the clock. Let's start this bad boy up. Again, we are using landing spots. Use them if you so please. Did you find a list? I couldn't find a list.
Yeah, I was looking at it, and I'm getting my elbow licked by my dog. Most of them are most of what I'm seeing is, okay, Dobbins. Most of them available. Yeah, most of them are.
Here they are: Jamal Williams, Gus Edwards, Jeff Wilson, Nick Chubb, Travis Homer, Naheem Hines, Amir Abdullah, J.K. Dobbins. So yeah, it's like Dobbins and Chubb, and that's kind of it. I don't really consider the other guys that.
Yeah.
That big. You're on the clock, by the way. So as we see Genty, Hampton, Ward off the board again, seems more and more likely. It's interesting to see the change of heart a little bit with Cam Ward and the quarterbacks in general. They're going consistently in the top 4, top 5 whenever we do these live drafts. So, which is the right thing to do, in my opinion, in a Superflex league. So, as we see Travion Henderson at the 104. You like that Raiders landing spot, or you just really love Henderson?
Yeah, I think both. I think that's a good spot. Like I said about Pete Carroll, we know what he likes to do. So this guy's a pretty good running back. Yeah. He's caught a lot of passes in college, and I think he had 3 or 4 solid years there at Ohio State. He couldn't beat Michigan, so we'll have to rewind.
Yeah, Billy, no worries. No worries if you can't pull up the mock. As we see Quinshawn Judkins go, interesting. Goes 3rd round to the Browns. I mean, it's a great landing spot. So Quinshawn Judkins, who kind of, I think the one concern people had with him was he going to test out well? Is he an athlete as well as a productive running back? And he was both. He tested out really well. He had one of the best combines in the entire combine. As we see Shedeur Sanders off the board. A little surprised that Caleb Johnson does fall. I mean, I know people are maybe a little bit lower on him because he did run a little slower than we expected, but he did go to the Cowboys. And it's tough to pass up on that as we see Tyler Warren go. This is kind of where Tyler Warren should go in a non-tight end premium, in my opinion. I'm going to go ahead and take – man, it took my guys. I'm going to go ahead and take Matthew Golden. I know he goes to Seattle, which isn't great, but I still could see him being productive. Even with those guys there, we assume Cup's going to miss time just because he has all the last couple of years, right? So assume he's going to miss time there. But it's a little. Does it concern you a bit, like taking Matthew Golden, even if he goes first round, like knowing that JSN and Cup are there? Does that concern you?
I don't know. I mean, the third guy, MVS, is that's not something to jump up and down about. I mean, he's just a guy.
I didn't even realize he was there.
Yeah, he signed there.
Yeah, that's yeah, it's just I don't know if Darnold, and I think they're going to want to run the ball a little bit more. So I just don't know if he's going to be able to support three guys there, at least year one. As time's up here, I'm not sure if you're here, Trash Pile Mafia. If you are, you can let me know, or you can make the pick, I believe, still. If not, I'll give you about 30 seconds and then I'll make that pick for you. But yeah, it's tough to see. I think both those guys, all three of those guys being, you lost the draft somehow. Oh, that's weird. Let's see if you can get back in though. The link is there. See if you can hop back in, but I will make the pick for you for now. Let's go Jackson Dart. He goes to the Browns, 33rd overall. So, and then we're going to go ahead and take Luther Burden, which, again, he does fall to the second round here to the Titans. He goes 34th overall. So I don't think it's – I've been putting together historical hit rates on Draft Capital, and it seems like there's not a huge difference between – and I'm going to post this in the Discord for everyone and maybe make a video as we get closer to the rookie drafts and NFL drafts, but there seems to be not a big difference between wide receivers taken in the first round outside the top 10 compared to wide receivers taken top 50 overall. Like there's not a big difference in the hit rate. Top 10 wide receivers, that's a huge hit rate. But wide receivers 11 through 32 versus wide receivers 33 through 50, there's not actually a huge difference. So there's an argument to be taken, guys like Burden and Emeka Ibuka even higher, especially if you like them, as players. So we'll go Travis Hunter here, who again, man, when you see the wide receiver money being thrown out, doesn't it just make you believe that Travis Hunter is going to he's going to declare as a wide receiver? Like Josh Palmer is getting $12 million a year.
I think he's yeah. That's that one was. I know the Bills are usually pretty smart. Josh Palmer is still pretty young. I know a lot of non-Charger fans don't know who Josh Palmer, much about him and stuff like that, but so. I think he was like 25 years old or something.
Doesn't it just feel like another, like they just have all these like wide receiver twos, Shakir, Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer now. Do they still have Curtis Samuel? I don't know. I know Matt Collins left, but I don't know. It just feels like another like wide receiver two for them.
Kincaid,
yeah, you can throw him in there. Yeah.
So no one's really standing out, no one's, and they seem to be a better team when they didn't have Diggs there, bitching for the ball all the time, so. Yeah,
especially, I mean, I think what makes that is Josh Allen's rushing ability. Like, I still think most teams you'll need and kind of that alpha wide receiver just for defenses to respect him as an alpha wide receiver. But, you can kind of get away with it with Josh Allen's rushing ability.
New England, except for the few years they had Randy Moss, they never had, that alpha receiver,
I mean, you can argue that it was Gronk, like that was like that dictated the coverage of the, like a player that makes the defense like adjust to that player, I think Gronk was probably that guy. But you're right. They didn't. I mean, it was Edelman, Welker, guys that were good and productive, but not, alpha guys for sure. Brandon Cooks for a year or two. They had Jaden Higgins, who goes 38th overall to the Patriots, falls all the way to the 208. And I was kind of talking about this when I made a video on this mock. Like, people just don't like New England wide receivers for the reason you just mentioned. When have they drafted a wide receiver in the first or second round that has hit?
Yeah.
They haven't. Again, Edelman was either undrafted or like a 7th round pick or something. They didn't draft Randy Moss. They didn't draft Randy Cooks. They didn't draft Wes Welker. I
heard they got punked out by Chris Godwin. He said no thanks. I heard they went in pretty hard for Ronnie Stanley. Yeah, and they didn't get him either. So they spent all their money. They spent all their money on the defensive side of the ball, and they still got a lot of money left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Supposedly you're going to hear some news soon about the Bengals wide receivers getting signed, and they said they were making progress, and it's like you're going to have to give what's his face, the wide receiver, you're going to have to give him $40 million.
Well, they came out and said at the combine, we're going to make Jamar Chase the highest paid non-quarterback.
Well, now
and then they waited, and it's Myles Garrett now.
Yep.
So you have to pay him more than, just sign him then. Like, what are you doing? You should have signed him last year. Like, why are you waiting? It just gets him more expensive. You're gonna sign him. Just freaking sign the guy. Like, you're just adding millions to the contract.
Yeah, I don't understand. They said they were gonna re-sign Higgins too, so he's gonna want like $30 million or something. So you're gonna have $70 million wrapped up into 2 wide receivers. I don't know. You better draft really good, and for defensive guys and stuff like that. So
yeah, no, absolutely.
They should put up good fantasy numbers and stuff like that. But my God, I don't know. Is that a way to build a team? And I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but so yeah, seeing Jaden Higgins though fall, because it's any other receiver there. I mean, just look at where Burden and Ibuka went. Now I know Burden and Ibuka, they kind of have more of a name to them, name value, and people, they're always mocked in the first round and stuff. But the fact is, Burden went to the Titans, Ibuka went to the Jags, and Jaden Higgins went to the Patriots, and they were all within 5 picks of each other, 34th, 36th, 38th. Who has the best chance of being the wide receiver 1 for their team? To me, it's Jaden Higgins. Ibuka is definitely not going to be it with Brian Thomas there. Luther Burden, year 1, he could be, but you also have Calvin Ridley still there, who's still a professional, good wide receiver. So and there's situations between the Titans and the Patriots, and you make an argument that the Patriots have the best quarterback of those 3. You can make the argument. I think it will be an argument after this year that Drake May's better than Trevor Lawrence, and he's definitely, I think, going to be better than Cam Ward. Now, that's still up in the air, of course, but I need to make a pick for this team here. So it's interesting to see Higgins fall. One, because, again, I don't think we see him mocked this high a lot, so people don't have it in their head, but also the Patriots next to his name is going to make them fall, I think. So I just think that's a very interesting. Sometimes we have to adjust. I know we might not like Higgins as much, but sometimes we just have to adjust to these guys and where they go. As we see Ollie Gordon off the board here. And my opinions about Ollie Gordon, I feel like I'm not going to have a lot of stock with Ollie Gordon, just because there's people that think, one of our viewers as well, the role, he thinks he should be a first round, early second round pick. I think this is a perfect gamble on Ollie Gordon, though. Late second, early third, this is where I would potentially gamble on him. As we see Mason Taylor off the board, Elijah Arroyo went, Restrepo, RJ Harvey, Isaiah Bond. Still some still some players. There's still some players from this mock draft, but and we'll go 4 rounds. We'll go fast through the 4th round. Yeah, I forget what I was talking about. Oh, with Ollie Gordon. Yeah. I mean, if a team can find what he was his sophomore year, that's going to be a huge steal. I'll go ahead and take DJ Giddens for this team. I'm a big DJ Giddens fan. What other free agencies, that we can kind of talk about as we finish out? I mean, Devontae Adams to the Rams. Metcalf.
You got a bunch of money.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? Like, you'd think they would have maybe stuck with Cup. I guess maybe the Rams know something about Cup. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was kind of wondering that. I think he'll do okay. It's always interesting at the end of the year. You just go back and you start looking at stats of guys, and and think like, well, this guy didn't do very well, and especially players on your teams. You can go back and look at Devontae Adams. It's like, holy shit, he's got some pretty good stats. So
yeah, I mean, especially with the Jets, he had really good stats. I think he's gonna be good for the Rams. I trust the Rams, and I think he's gonna be really damn good. So, as you see, Harold Fannin, who goes to the Chiefs, by the way, fall all the way to the end of the 3rd, and we're gonna go through this 4th round here as we finish up. Appreciate everyone that stopped in. By the way, we're 1 subscriber away from 1170. So it'd be cool if we hit that as we march our way to 1,200. And we're going to be all until end of May. We're going to be doing these live rookie drafts. We're assumingly we're going to get, I assume we're going to get more people involved as we get closer to the real NFL draft, more people that want to hop in and mock draft. So, it's good that you guys are here so you can hop in and mock draft with us. But yeah, I do think we're going to be getting more and more people wanting to mock with us. So the best way to hop in, obviously, is to subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we go live, but also to join our Discord if you're not in there yet, to join our Discord, because I announce when we go live. When we go live every time, I'll give you usually a few hours, maybe half a day advance when we're going to go live, and then so you'll kind of never miss it if you are on Discord. And we want to put together more listener leagues. We have 2 set up. One of them we're probably going to be drafting soon. We're going to live stream a real money startup draft the first 10, 12 rounds. But we would like to get a 3rd one started potentially. So don't know how many we're actually going to do. So I would get in and take advantage of the opportunity to play in a league with us. You got 15 seconds, by the way, on my clock. It's Jaden Blue, who, again, I really like Jaden Blue. I do think it's a little telling that I think he decided to come, like he could have went back for another year. Yeah, I guess it says he was a senior, but he only played 3 years, it looks like. I don't know. Sometimes I get confused on how all that works. DJ Giddens at the 308 shows the strength of this running back class. The guy's a stud. Yeah, I think DJ Giddens is awesome. And he just never seems to get mocked in these 3-round mock drafts, which is why he's always a little bit lower when I do these. But, if he goes day 2 to one of these teams that we like, I could honestly see him going as early as the mid-second. That's how good I think the guy is. So I think he's awesome. And he's a lot of fun. I hope he goes to the right team. Hope he goes to the Chargers, and I'm being completely honest. If they don't get someone in the 1st or 2nd round, hope he goes to the Chargers in the 3rd round. Oronde Gadsden the 2nd off the board. Terrence Ferguson off the board. As we I need to make a pick here for team 8. And yeah, we'll go with my boy Savion Williams, who didn't get drafted in this mock, but he's a lot of fun as well as we get the last 4 picks here. So what do we have next? I mean, really, it's just going to be all draft stuff, huh? Nothing until the
all the pro day shit's going on. So I don't know. We don't hear much about it. All we hear is, oh yeah, Cam Ward threw and he completed 59 out of 60 throws, or something like that, and that's all junk. But man, there's some decisions that have to be made. Is somebody gonna, everybody's kind of leaning now. I heard the last couple days that, 2 teams. What is it? Titans and the Browns, I think, are 1 and 2.
Yeah.
In the draft, that that there seems like they'll be leaning to get quarterbacks, and which kind of makes sense. And I heard Jim Miller on XM radio say that he didn't think Shedeur Sanders could make all the throws. He said he was a little weak in the arm, for some of the intermediate and deeper routes and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's kind of interesting. He is pretty accurate and stuff like that. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. Cam Ward definitely seems to will be the first quarterback. Is somebody going to jump up? Are the Giants, going to trade up from 3 to get to 1 and, give up the whole farm? And some of these
they go into it with just Tommy DeVito, probably.
Yeah, I mean, some of these teams are not, Pittsburgh and I don't know. There's a lot of teams that they seem to be in quarterback purgatory. Supposedly Aaron Rodgers is waiting. He wants to go to the Vikings.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, didn't the Vikings just draft J.J. McCarthy at number 10 last year? Are you going to say, that he ain't worth a crap, or you're not going to give him a chance, or maybe it's a health concern, maybe it's a knee. So maybe the knee he did have 2 surgeries on his knee. So there's some more stories that need to be ironed out before the draft. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's March 15th, and the draft is until what, April 24th, 25th, something like that. So
yeah, we do get another little dead period, maybe late March to the draft. So, but that's fine. Gives us more time to talk about a bunch of crap. So,
there's still, as we said earlier, there's a lot of wide receivers. They were big name guys, but they're a little older. So where do they start filling in at and stuff like that? So
Yep, we talked about it. There's not really much running backs left, but it feels like the Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins are kind of waiting a little bit for the Rodgers chip to fall. So
I think, I think Atlanta's not in a rush to get rid of Cousins because they know, well, they're going to get screwed financially, salary cap hit and all that other stuff, no matter what happens. If they trade him, if they release him, so they're just holding on to him. It's like, hey, we got to pay the guy, so we might as well just keep him right here. Now, if somebody gets really nervous, like I didn't get a quarterback like Pittsburgh or Cleveland or somebody, or the Giants, they go down to Atlanta and say, hey, we'll give you a draft pick or 2 for Cousins or something. So
yeah. Don't they have something like they're gonna have to pay him a little bit more money like tomorrow if he's still on the team? I think there's something with his contract.
Yeah, like a roster bonus or something like that. I think
Yeah, it's
Could
like
be.
significant too.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're not. Seems like they're not in much of a hurry.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. So, but yeah, we'll probably end it here. Appreciate everyone that mocked with us. A lot of fun. We had consistently over 15, 20 people this whole time, and I know we're all getting excited for the draft to come and some dynasty stuff. Again, once again, just if you're watching on replay or whatever, hit the like, subscribe button. We're one away from 1170. Hopefully, we can get to 1200 by the end of the month. That would be awesome. Join the Discord. Again, link is in the chat here. I'll probably leave it in the description of the page as well. So get in there. You can do a real money league with us. So yeah, I'll be back. At least me, maybe both of us, maybe three of us tomorrow evening. Maybe around 6 or 7 Eastern time. So doing probably a startup mock. So we'll get some practice in because we got real leagues coming up soon that we need to practice for. So, but anyways, any last words there, Dad, before I end this bad boy?
Not really.
Good to go. All right. Well, enjoy your weekends, everyone. We will see you all in the next video.